have tried to practice the law of attraction with the book The Secret, and that specifically they always fail. And that's why I wrote my book Telementation, to specifically try to do the opposite of that and go step by step, show people exactly how to do it. It's not just, you close your eyes and you visualize something. If you want to fail at it, that's exactly what The Secret tells you to do, and that's exactly what you'll do if you sit there and try to visualize things. What you need to do is change your deep inner subconscious feelings, not really your thoughts so much as your feelings, and then that's what manifests everything in reality. It's the most powerful source of energy in the cosmos. So I thought that was a really good point. I was glad that you brought it up so I could comment back on that. But as far as the ET invasion, yeah, I mean, they've got us so prepped with the Pope telling us and Hollywood telling us, and everything everywhere is telling us that ET invasion is coming. And we were talking earlier about how they want to get us to shape our subconsciousnesses so we create a reality of a certain sort to their liking. Well, I don't think that there's any better example anywhere I could think of than this whole extraterrestrial bombardment we have in the mass media, whether it's movies, Larry King Live, or science fiction shows on cable TV. Everywhere we're being told that there's aliens, and they're, for some reason or another, they're coming. So, I mean, you can kind of tell what the future is going to be by how they're creating and shaping our subconscious mind through the mass media. You can tell what we're going to manifest in the future, and clearly some kind of manufactured ET invasion would be just what's coming, it's what's in the cards. And the real, like you were saying, Doc, the real otherworldly beings are actually not even far away. They're just in other dimensions all around. That's right, yeah. All one needs to do to contact some of these is just practice higher level meditation techniques. Right. For example, in the Bible, that's what it talks about, all kinds of people doing that, having a God-connected consciousness, so in other words, a higher order consciousness. And what happens when you're there in that consciousness? Of course, you contact angels, or if you're going down the wrong path, you contact demons. Right. And people need to understand that there is a council of the Eschaton. There are higher order beings and civilizations that transcend time and space. There is a world in the future, as I mentioned in my talk 2 years ago at ConspiracyCon, where 10,000 years from now we survive. Religion as it currently constitutes will be subservient to spirituality and a higher order of ever-present, not only just intellectual, but emotional awareness of our connectedness to each other, to living things on the planet, and we are actually an extension of the planet as a living thing, and to other sentient beings in the universe which may be like us, or even might to our own senses be quite...
I think we're having a breakup here on the radio communication here.
Carrie, I can hear you. Can you comment on that, please?
Yes, I will. I think you're absolutely right, Dr. Deagle, and also Professor Krupp. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But at any rate, I want to agree with you there. It's all about what you attract. It's also your energetics, and it actually has to do with your chakras. It has to do with where you are at emotionally. And I think this is a really important key, because your emotional intelligence, which is your heart linked with your mind, is what we're talking about. It's not good enough to just think it. And you can't fake it either. You can't pretend that you're feeling really good on the outside, but inside you are actually, in doubt and some kind of a mess. That's not going to get you where you want to go. And it's also going to attract a lot of information, a lot of tests that you need to go through. And that's the other side I wanted to talk about a little bit, which is that, again, these are spiritual beings having a physical experience. So I want you to know that, there will be tests. Whenever a person starts changing levels of their awareness, there are always tests that go along with that will affect whether or not you're able to maintain that level of awareness. And it's kind of one of the sort of laws of the universe. Now, you can even supersede that if you get into a mental state where even thinking that there might be tests is kind of a mindset in and of itself. I realize that. So there is in this reality what we call 3D, as long as you're more or less kind of locked in there and manifesting that, then you are going to be experiencing the positive and the negative shifts. In other words, the polarization. And when you move very much into the positive, there is a reaction on the negative. And David Wilcock would call that a negative reading. And so I'm just trying to address that for the people that are finding that their days are challenging, even though their head is maybe even more spiritual than ever and their heart is in the right place. And I have to say that you have to keep on keeping on, because this is all of it.
That's a very good point, because people need to realize when you start moving toward the positive and ascending in terms of connecting with the Creator God, you're going to have negative opposition. And in fact, that should be a confirmation that you're on the right road. Absolutely.
And the other thing to do with that is that you can basically need to develop the spiritual muscle to be able to deal with these trials. That's what coming to the earth is all about. You are building your spiritual awareness and your muscles, and so to speak, on a metaphysical level. And so if you weren't tested, you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be doing anything useful here. And so those people that are finding that they're getting a lot of opposition in their lives, I know a lot of younger, especially indigos and other kinds of new children that are coming in, are reaching sort of an age of maturity now, but they're facing all kinds of very intense opposition on many levels. And I just want to encourage them, if they are listening, that this is part of the path and that you can absolutely rise above it. You will find yourself in a place where things will smooth out eventually. So if you just hang in there and deal with each thing as it comes, I think that you'll be better off for where you're at. Just maintain the path. And one of the things I'm also noticing, and I've been talking to other people that are quite aware, like Rebecca Jernigan, Miriam Delicato, we often compare notes and what we're coming across out there right now. And one of the things we also notice is that there are a lot of people that start off on a very positive path, even in the last few years, and they're being taken over by a sort of a negative path, by attachments from the other side and so on. And what I want to say is that you do have the power to rise above that, to move out of that space. And one of the things is that you are not letting that dictate who you are and what's going on. In other words, in other words, you're pointing the finger outside yourself and saying, oh, it's the Illuminati, they're doing it to me. Actually, it's up to you, because you allow the disease to take hold. There's always a level of allowance, a level of acceptance, in which your soul will say, well, I'm going to allow this because I want to learn something from it. And once you learn something, then you can move on. So it's an interesting agreement we have with reality, and it's really important.
Yeah, in other words, it's a part of the process of growing up on a spiritual level. Amazing program today. Carrie Cassidy, again, continuing hour 2 with Argusoog Radio with Professor Jeff Krupp. And how can they get the link directly, Carrie?
Well, you can go to our website, which is ProjectCamelotPortal.com, and we do have a link there that should reach the right place.
So it's ProjectCamelotPortal.com.
ProjectCamelotPortal.com is the best way.
I really appreciate the work you were doing on Project Camelot, Carrie Cassidy and Professor Jeff Krupp. Remarkable program. As I say, listen to it again and again so you get it fully. And listen to hour 2 with Argusoog Radio and Carrie Cassidy, and we'll be back in a moment here in America.
Okay, so we're going to disconnect from Dr. Deagle at this time, and we're going to go back with Argusoog Radio, and hopefully I'm saying that right. And this is Carrie Cassidy, Project Camelot, and we should be on the air very shortly with the guest that Dr. Deagle was introducing us to, whose name is Professor Jeff Krupp, I believe is how you say the last name. And he's written several books on consciousness, apparently, and also how the corporate mind is affecting our reality. So hopefully we'll be able to bring him back on with us very shortly. Sorry for the hectic quality of what we've been going through here. This has been a very unconventional piece of radio. In some ways, I actually think that's a lot of fun when things are crazy, because you get a lot of impromptu, natural behavior on the part of the various participants, and I don't think we're going to be worse off for it. So today was a very interesting discussion so far, and I do want to say that we are going to have Dr. Waterman join us as well. Dr. Waterman, are you still there?
I'm still here. Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, well that's lovely because I believe we're trying to reconnect with